there are more than 100 types of blue screens of death. So I've decided to divide this video into sections. We have blue screens of death that happen and the computer just crashes like this one, and after it is going to reboot, or the computer is going to start again into the desktop environment. That is the first type of crash that we have. Then the second type of crash that we have is people who cannot boot into the Windows anymore after the boot screen has occurred. So we have different types of people. Some people cannot boot again and others can boot. So in case you cannot boot and your computer is stuck onto the boot screen like this one, maybe sometimes it can go to the recovery mode, sometimes it will not bypass the blue screen. Go to solution number 1 and try solution number 1. And if your computer can boot into the desktop, or you can access your computers after the blue screen, go to solution number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and try them out. If those solutions do not work for you, then you can go to solution 1 and try it out. Solution number 1. Repair the boot sector and the master boot record. Before we repair the boot sector and the master boot record, we need to access the Windows Advanced settings. The Windows Advanced settings look like this. If you are using Windows 11 and Windows 10 and you can access your desktop, the best way to enter the Windows recovery mode is to click the Windows button, click the power button, hold the shift key and stay holding the shift key, then you click restart. When you click restart, your computer is going to start directly into the Windows recovery mode. Okay, that is a Windows recovery mode. And if your computer cannot start or you cannot access the desktop, the best way to boot into the Windows recovery mode is to turn on your computer. When you see the start screen, then turn off your computer and then turn on your computer again. When you see the start screen, turn off your computer again, then you have to turn on the computer. Then you're going to be able to enter the Windows recovery environment. Please do that. Try your level best. Sometimes it is very tricky, but I know you will manage to do it. Before we go to the more advanced procedures on how to try and solve the BSOD screen, I would recommend you try these other options, okay? You can try the startup repair and see if it is going to work out for you. Some of it may work. If it doesn't work, you can try uninstalling updates. Just come and click on uninstall the latest updates. We have two options you choose. You can click uninstall the latest quality update. Then you go for that. They are saying uninstall latest quality update. Then you click that to uninstall and see if it is going to help you and fix your BSOD screen. But if that doesn't work for you, you can go back to our menu, come back. Then I think we shall go and try maybe System Restore. The problem with System Restore is it cannot assist you if it not what create a restore point. So System Restore can only assist you if you created a restore point. But if you do not create any restore point, then you cannot use System Restore. But in case you have a restore point, you can try and restore to that previous point that you created. That is also good at assisting people to overcome the BSOD screens. Now, we shall go back to our menu, then go to troubleshoot. Now, if those options are not working for you, then we can go to command prompt. But before you go to command prompt, there's also another option for startup settings. You can go to that. Then you restart. When you restart, we shall look at this later. You can start your computer in safe mode. That can also try and work out for you. If it doesn't work out for you, you can still come back to this final settings. Now, what we want to do is to go to command prompt. When you go to your command prompt, we're going to have that. Now, when you reach the command prompt, we are going to try and use different commands. So we are going to write a list of commands. In case maybe some commands do not work on your PC, it's okay. Maybe you can try and skip that command and move on to the next command. But I hope all the commands are going to work. The first command is going to be BCD edit. BCD edit, and you hit enter. Let me maximize my screen. So another thing I would advise, make sure that at least you boot your computer into the recovery mode by turning off and turning on, turning off and turning on, turning off and turning on. Or you can boot into the recovery from the desktop. Why? Because if you see that we have X Windows System 32, that means that we've booted from either the desktop or we are booting by turning off and turning on, turning off and turning on. If you have X and sources, then it means that you're either booting from maybe a Windows installation disk or flash drive. Some codes or some commands are not going to work for you. Okay, so I would suggest that you try booting on and booting off, booting on and booting off if your computer cannot start. Now the first command we are having is BCD edit. I want you to notify the following, or get a pen and note the following. The first one, you see we are having the locale. The locale is ENUS. Please save that one. We have different locales, maybe depending on the type of languages we are using for our Windows. Okay, someone may have a different region, so also note that one. Another thing you have to note is the partition. I have partition is equal to C. The C means that my drive partition is on. So my Windows installation is on partition C. So also check that out and you have to note it down. Okay, so now when we finish that, we are going to start. The first thing we are going to do now after that is going to be boot rake space / fix mbr. That one is to write a new master boot record, because the blue screen of death is very good at maybe corrupting the boot sectors and the MBRs. Then the next code is going to be boot rake space / fix boot. This one we are trying to create a new sector to our hard drive, but they are saying access is denied. Now when you get access is denied, then you do the following code. In case you don't have access denied, then it is okay. But if you have access denied, then you type boot sect /NT60 space SYS. Then you hit enter. Okay, you get something like that. You see, if you are not booting from, if you are booting from maybe the an installation drive, okay, like a Windows installation drive, then some commands like these ones will not be working out for you. Now, so now after that, we can go and type in the code again, boot rake space / fix boot. Then you hit enter. Okay, that's saying the operation completed successfully. Now, after that, the next command we are going to have to look at is going to be, we are going to try and rebuild. Okay, when you are rebuilding, we are trying to fix the corruptions, or any corruption or any corrupt data that we have within our boot configurations or our boot sectors. Now, well, we're supposed to run the command boot rake space slash rebuild BSOD, and you hit enter. It is going to scan. Now you see, after scanning, I'm having successfully scanned Windows installations completed, but we have 0. Okay, total identified Windows installation is what? 0. That means that our rebuild BSOD command is not going to work because it cannot find any Windows installations. Now, to bypass that, we shall do some simple commands. The first thing we have to do is to go and look for the Windows installations or the boot file for the Windows installation. So go and click disk part, and you hit enter. Then you're going to go into the disk part. Then after that, you're going to click list disk. To know that you are in the disk part, make sure that this one has changed from X to disk part. If you still have X here, then you're not in the disk part. Okay, make sure that you have disk part. The first command in the disk part is going to be list disk. Then you hit enter. So they're going to show you the number of disks you have. I have disk 0. You may have more than 2 disks. You may have more than, if you are maybe inserting a flash drive, if you're having a CD inserted in, they're going to show you different numbers of disks. So go and look for the disk number that is pointing to your hard disk or your SSD. Make sure that you look for that disk number. Try and pay attention, okay, to the size. You can tell the difference maybe if you look at the what? If you look at the sizes of the disk. So I'm going to choose disk 0 because that is the disk that is pointing to my hard disk. Please make sure that you pay attention to that. Compare the size and you know the size for your disk, then you can go for that. Now they are saying disk 0. So I'm going to go and select that. I'll say select disk 0. If you don't have 0 and maybe your hard drive is on another disk like disk 1, disk 2, disk 4, then you have to select that. So when I finish, I'm going to hit enter. Now they're saying disk 0 is now the selected disk. Now the next thing you're going to do after that, you're going to go and list vol or list volume. You can finish volume or you can just write vol and you hit enter. It is going to display the volumes for your disk. But now what we are trying to care about is go and look if you have EFI. Okay, look for the one which has EFI. It is a system file. Some of you may have different. If you have other things apart from this, you can see maybe you have something like system. So look for that is a system file. If you're not seeing system, then you can be seeing something like EFI. So you can see it is on volume number 3. So I'm going to go ahead and say select vol. Okay, select space vol space then 3 to select volume number 3 which has EFI. Then you hit enter. That means that now volume 3 is the selected volume. When you finish that, because if you look at this, we have letters D, we have letters C for the Windows, but this volume does not have a letter. So we want to assign a letter to it. So make sure that the letter you're assigning is not either D or C. If you have other letters, do not assign those same letters. So I'm going to go ahead and say assign space. Then I'm going to say letter. There is no space. Okay, just put the equal sign, don't put the space. Then you choose a letter that you want to assign. So I'm going to assign the capital Z or the capital Z. You can choose any letter you want, or you can put the Z so that we can flow along. Then when I finish, I'm going to put my colons and I'm going to hit enter. Now they are saying that the disk part successfully assigned the drive letter. Okay, if you want to check, you can again type the command for list vol and you hit enter. Okay, now you can see that my EFI partition has Z as its letter. Now when you finish that, you're going to want to leave the disk part. So you click exit When you click exit, you're going to leave the disk part. So I'm going to click exit. Okay, now to know that you're in, you see they're saying leaving disk part. Now we've gone back to the X Windows System 32. Okay, make sure that you exit the disk part and you come back to the Windows 32. After leaving disk part, now we shall start with this command: cd space /d space z colon /efi /Microsoft with a big M, Microsoft /boot with a big B, then again /. Please cross check and see that you're not making any mistake. If you miss any later, then it will not work. Then you hit enter. Okay, now when you hit enter, you can see now we've moved to the directory for what? For the partition of EFI. Now the next command is going to be attribute attrib, like that, attrib space big Z. Again, the Z is the letter for our partition for EFI. Okay, then colon EFI Microsoft with a big M, Microsoft B boot with a big B, again /. Then we shall select the folder for the BCD. Okay, then space again -H space again -R space again -S. Okay, attrib, then cross check and see the Z, make sure is the one for that one that you have here as your letter, then you hit enter. Okay, that one is finished. Then the next one after that we want to rename. Okay, we want to rename that BCD file to a new file. It's like we are backing up the what? We are backing up the file. In case of anything, maybe in case of any damage to the, in case of any damage to the BCD file, you can reactivate and use the one you've backed up. Okay, so you can select rename, REN, then space Z, the Z for that, colon /, then EFI /Microsoft. Okay, /boot /BCD. The BCD is the file we are renaming. Okay, then space, we can rename it anything. I'll put BCD 8. Okay, you can rename anything you want. Then I'll put .old. Okay, so make sure you remember that name in case maybe you have any problems with your boot sector. You can use it to retrieve it. Okay, so cross check and see if you don't have any error in your code, then you hit enter. Okay, now when you finish that, you want to try out the boot rec rebuild command. Okay, so I'll type boot rec BOOT rec, okay, space / rebuild BCD and hit enter. Okay, now you see this time we are having successfully scanned Windows installations, and the total identified Windows installation is 1. Okay, then you're going to click Y for yes, then you hit enter. Okay, now that's saying the operation completed successfully. In case that maybe the bootstrap rebuild command maybe has not worked for you, you can still continue with the following command. Even if it has worked for you, please continue with the following command. Okay, you can try the following command in order to recreate the BCD. Okay, so write BCD, okay, then boot, BCD, boot, space, C is the later where I have my Windows installed. So you can also check out, like what we said at the beginning of this process, then the colon, then again we have a backward slash, we have Windows, capital W, then we have space, /L. That is small l. Most of the people always confuse it to be one. That is small l. L, then space, EN minus US. The EN minus US is the one that we talked about at the beginning. This one. So you want to go back and check and see the local you have. Okay, me I have EN minus US. So whatever local you have is what you have to use. So you come back and use that as EN minus US. When you finish that, you hit space, then /, okay, space, /ace, then space. This time you put the later for our partition, the one for EFI, okay, Z, like that. Then I'm going to put colons, those colons. Then when you finish, you put space, put /, then you type AF, then you put space and type all, A, big L, and big L. When you finish, you hit enter. Okay, they're saying boot files successful created. This one is going to work magic for you. Okay, now when we finish, I think now we finished booting. We have finished fixing our MBR. We have finished repairing our boot sector and maybe taking away the corrupt files from the boot configuration data. Now the next step is going to be, you see now we still have Z. You see that one? Okay, so we want to exit from this and go back. So in order to go back, just type X, then you put the colons and you hit enter. You're going to go back to what? To the Windows System 32. When you finish, now we want to go back to disk part because we want to remove this later that we assigned to this partition. Okay, so go back to disk part and you type enter, disk part. Then the same way we did list disk, enter. Look for the disk that has the one for the hard disk, your hard disk, the later. Okay, then I'm going to say select. Mine is 0, so I'll say select disk 0. Then I'm going to hit enter. Then I will say list vol, then hit enter. Then I'm going to come and select volume 3 because that's what the partition I have, EFI. Maybe yours is different, so I'm going to say select vol 3. Then I'm going to hit enter. Then afterwards I'm going to type the command to remove like that. Then I'm going to hit enter. Okay, so now they're saying disk part successfully removed the drive later or mount point. Okay, you can check again if you want to confirm. List vol, hit enter. You can see that now we don't have what a later on our EFI partition. Okay, now the next step is to exit disk part. Type EXIT, then you hit enter. When you finish that, now we're going to go and run the following command. we are going to start with the check disk command. Okay, so we're going to write check disk, then space, look for the partition because we don't want to check the whole disk of, okay, we just want to check the Windows disk, the Windows installed, or the Windows installation disk where the Windows are installed. That's C drive. Okay, mine is C, so you can go and check. Okay, mine is C, so I'm going to put check disk, then I'll put C, then I'll put colons. Okay, then I'm going to put space slash F slash again space slash R, C space slash F, then slash R. What that command is going to do for us, it is going to find the errors in that disk partition and it is going to clean up those errors. Okay, so when you finish, you're going to go ahead and click enter. Okay, so it is going to take some time. Like that, you can see disk checking depending on the size of your what? Depending on the size of your file. Okay, so we have to wait for that to finish up. I can maybe pause and I'll come back when it is finished. Okay, now they are saying disk check has what? Disk check has finished. Okay, now the next command we are going to do after the disk check is going to be, we are going to scan the system files. Okay, so write sfc space / type scan, then type now, scan now. Okay, then space again / off BOOT, like that, of boot, then dir is equal to the drive later for your Windows installation. Okay, mine is C. I'll put C here. Then I want to put the colons. Then I'm going to put again backward slash. Okay, like that. Sometimes it works without a backward slash. Then I'll put space. Then I'm going to put /. Then I'll type off win dir. Okay, equals. Then I'm going to put my Windows installation later, which is C. Then colons. Then I'm going to type backward slash. Then you're going to type Windows with a capital first W. The W is capital. Okay, please cross check. I know it's easy to make mistakes. Okay, when you finish, you're going to hit enter. So they're saying beginning system scan. So this process is going to take some time. Most of the time, people just use the command like scan now, just like sfc scan now, which I do not recommend. Okay, this one is the best command you can have to use because you are going to look exactly at the boot directory in our C or in your Windows installation disk. So it is going to take some time. So in case it finds any errors, it is going to fix them. So I'm going to pause my video. I think then I'll come back when it starts or when it has finished. Okay, if you see that saying it has finished. Okay, Windows Resource Protection did not find any integrity violations. That is my case. In case of any of your PCs, maybe in case they find any violations, they're going to fix them. Okay, so don't worry about that. So the last command we shall have to do, I think we have finished all that. So we need to reboot our computer. Okay, so now please try, if in case any command has refused to work, you can go back and you keep on trying, or you can even comment in the section below for the comments. Then I'll be getting back to you as soon as possible. Okay, so reboot your computer cleanly using the following command: WPEU okay, space reboot. Then you are going to hit enter. So our computer is going to reboot, and we see, okay, it is supposed to reboot. In case everything has worked for you, it is going to work. Thank you. Solution number 2. Run the hardware and device troubleshooting tool. Press your Windows button and type CMD. Run as administrator and click yes. In the command prompt, type the following: msdt.exe space -id space device diagnostic and hit enter. We are going to open up the troubleshoot for hardware and devices. Go ahead and click next. Windows is going to start detecting problems that maybe your hardware and other devices have. So you follow the prompt, whatever they guide you. In case they find any errors, then they're going to let you know that they have errors, and they're going to try and fix any errors with your hardware. So this will spend a few minutes scanning your computer for problems. So I'm going to pause my video, then I'll come back in case I have any problems detected. And now if you see, they are saying that restart your PC to finish installing drivers and updates. So it means that I have maybe a problem with my hardware and any device. So I'm supposed to apply this fix. So go ahead and click apply this fix. But I'm going to skip this fix because I don't want my computer to reboot. I want to keep on showing that you can find maybe any other errors that you have. So I'm going to skip. But for you, do not have to skip. So I'll advise you to apply the fix. Then you go back and reboot your computer, and then come back and again do the same command again until you finish all the errors that your hardware and other devices have. So I'll skip this and find another error. So now they're saying device install settings. They're saying that Windows is not currently set to check for most update drivers when a new device is installed. So I can choose to enable, or I can choose to leave disabled. So if I enable automatically checking for the newest drivers on Windows updates, maybe that is the problem I have. So I will go ahead and enable that. Okay, so when I enable, they keep on detecting for other addition problems. Okay, now you can see that my troubleshooting has completed. And they're saying that I have these errors and they have fixed one, and I must also restart my computer to fix the other error. So you can also try that and see if it works out. If this does not work out for you, then let us move on to solution number 3. Solution number 3. Run the deployment, imaging, and servicing management tool. Go ahead and press the Windows button, type CMD, run as administrator, and click yes. Now we have 3 different commands we normally look at. We have scan health, check health, and restore health. But we shall only focus on the last one. So go ahead and type DISM, capital, then space / online, then space / clean up minus image, then space / restore health, and go ahead and hit enter. This process typically takes between 10 minutes and half an hour. So do not be alarmed in case the progress bar pauses maybe at 20% for several minutes. It is normally behaving like that. So I'll go ahead and wait for it to finish up, then we shall come back and see our results. Yeah, we have managed to reach 100%. So let us keep waiting and see. Okay, they're saying the operation completed successfully. After the scan has finished, please go ahead and go to Windows, click power, then restart your computer. Make sure you restart your computer and see. This must have resolved your BSOD. In case you still have that BSOD unresolved, please continue to solution number 4. Solution number 4. Perform a clean boot. We are going to perform a clean boot. In order to perform a clean boot, click the Windows icon, then type system configuration. System configuration. Open system configuration. When you open, we have 3 choices: normal startup, diagnostic startup, and selective startup. Now, make sure to come and choose selective startup. When you check selective startup, you can see that we have 2 choices that are checked: load system services and load startup services. So what you are going to do is make sure you uncheck load startup items, the second one. Uncheck that. So we only have load system services checked. When you finish, go ahead to the tabs that we have here. Look for services. Check for services. Click on services. Then we have all of these services. Okay. So what we have, we are going to come and choose hide all Microsoft services. Can you see that? Hide all Microsoft services. When you finish hiding all Microsoft services, now come and make sure that you check, because now all the ones that are checked here are going to be enabled. Okay, so we want to disable some services, but what most of the people do is they disable all. If you click on disable all, it does not solve the problem for you that you want. Yes, maybe you may solve the BSOD, but you don't know what is causing the particular BSOD. So what you are going to do is make sure that you can choose to disable maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I can choose to disable the first 10. I can even add this one to make it 11. Then remember, the ones that are unchecked are the ones that are disabled. So when I finish, I'll come and click apply. So if you click apply, you can see all of these have been disabled. Okay, they're disabled. Now when I finish, I'm going to go and click OK. When you click OK, they're going to prompt you, do you want to restart your computer to apply these changes? Then before restarting, save any open file. So when you restart your computer is going to restart with those services disabled. Now you can use your computer and see if the BSOD is still showing up or not. In case that BSOD is showing up, then you have to go back and enable those services and select another group of services, like maybe 10. and also do the same until you find out which service is causing the BSOD. If there is no service causing the BSOD, then you have to come back and enable all those services that you disabled. Please make sure you come back to enable all the services that you disabled. Okay, so we shall head on to solution number 5. Solution number 5. Update your drivers. Some of the BSODs are caused because of unupdated drivers. So click the Windows button or press the Windows button, then type Device Manager, then click Open. So it will show you a list of your drivers that you have installed. So you see I have all these drivers. Most of the cases maybe the BSOD can be caused because of some drivers. You can also start with the drivers that have this yellow mark on them. Okay, let me show you. We have some drivers that have this yellow mark. If you check your drivers and you see that they have this, there's a yellow mark that they have, you can start with those drivers. So what you're going to do to update your drivers, in case you don't have any driver that has that yellow mark, it's okay, you can still update all the drivers. So just right click on that driver, or you can click under batteries. When you click under batteries, they will show you all the list of drivers under the batteries. If you click under computer, they will show you all the list of drivers. If you click under disk drives, they show you all the drivers that you have. Okay, so all the drivers, you can just have to click and check. Now what you're going to do is to make sure that you right click on that driver that you want. So I will come and maybe check under computer. I have that type of drivers. I have Bluetooth. I have all those drivers. So I'll just come and check any drivers, or you can go one by one and make sure that you update all the drivers. So just check any drivers, right click on that driver like this. Make sure you right click on the driver. Then there's an option to update driver. Then click update the driver that you want. Then they're showing how do you want to search for drivers. Make sure that you go for the search automatically for drivers. This is the best solution because it is going to search the internet for the drivers. Now they are saying that the best drivers for your device are already installed, and I think most of you may check that. You can still have an option to go to search for updated drivers on Windows Update. You can also click that option, which is going to prompt Windows Update to check for you drivers. You can also click on that option. Now, in case maybe the drivers are showing that they are up to date, but you feel that they're outdated, you can go to the internet, then you download the drivers for the specific maybe component you are looking for. If you're looking for the Windows and for the audio drivers, you can go to Google and check for the audio drivers for your computer. So make sure that you update all the drivers for your computer. Just come to update, search automatically, then they will search for you. Update driver, search automatically, then the computer is going to search for all your drivers. But I would recommend that you start with the drivers that have the yellow checkings like this one, base system device. Make sure you go for those drivers. Most of the time they are the ones causing maybe the problems. Okay, if you have an error like Windows was unable to install your base system drivers, then these ones you can try to search for updated drivers on Windows Update. If that option does not work for you, then you can also try to maybe go to Google and look for the drivers for that particular component that you are looking for. When you finish that step, and in case you still have the BSOD, please head on to the next solution. Solution number 6. Solution number 6. roll back, disable and uninstall drivers. Click the Windows button, type Device Manager again, then open Device Manager, click Open, go back to your drivers. Okay, now we are going to, some cases maybe that drivers are causing the problems for our computer, which we end up getting the BSODs. Now what you're going to do is you're going to roll back some settings. Maybe a driver has been updated, but the updates are causing that problem. So what you do is you go to that driver that you want. Maybe I'll go to this, right click, and I'll go to properties. When you go to properties, come and go to driver. Now we have this option, update, which we looked at the previous one. But now this time we're going to look at rollback, disable device, and uninstall device. If there's an update that is causing any maybe issues with your device, you can choose to roll back. But most of the times this option is not highlighted. But if there is an update on your driver, then this option is going to be highlighted. Maybe after the updates have taken place. You can click this to roll back and go to the previous version that you had. Then the next is to disable the device. Disabling the device means that you are preventing it from being used by your computer. You're preventing that device. The microphone, if you see this one, I chose microphone array. So if I disable that, it means that I'm disabling the microphone from being used by my computer. Okay. This can be useful if you're having problems with that device. So if you think your problems maybe are coming from a certain device, you can go ahead and disable that device. Okay. So I can go ahead and choose any, maybe the Bluetooth. I can disable that. You can go ahead and choose keyboard. You can go ahead and choose, as long as you think that your problem is coming from that, just go and disable that. Okay. So just right click, properties, driver, and you disable. So I can choose to say disable device. When you disable this device, will cause it to stop functioning. So if I click yes, that means that that device is not going to function. It has been disabled. So you can check and see what device is causing. If that device has been disabled, it is going to have an arrow like this one. So check and see if that device is causing any problems. If your computer is still working with that device being disabled, then you can come and enable it again, and then you go and disable another device. Then we have uninstall. Uninstall a device removes it completely from your computer. If you uninstall that device, it means that you're removing that device completely from your computer, and your computer will not be able to use it since you do not have it. So I would also suggest, if you feel like maybe there's a problem coming from any of your devices, you can still uninstall those devices. Yes, it's okay to uninstall. Just come under the drivers, look for any like this one, then right click, go to properties. Okay, look for that one cannot be uninstalled. Properties. Okay, then you can choose the disable or uninstall driver. Right click and install. If you uninstall a device, when you check and you have no problems, then you can still come back and reinstall. All you need to do is make sure that you go to the internet and reinstall those devices that you have uninstalled. As simple as that. So try out that and see. In case it does not work out for you, then you move on to the next solution. Solution number 7. Perform or run a virus scan. To run a virus scan, you can just use any software that you have or any antivirus. If you don't have, just click the Windows button and type Windows Security and open. That is going to open up the Windows Security. So you can look for virus and threat protection. This one. Click on that. I'm having McAfee that is turned on. Maybe if you don't have any antivirus and you have the Windows Defender, you can check. There will be an option like quick scan. Please scan. If you have McAfee like me, you can just click open up. Then they'll bring an option for you to scan your computer. Okay, that is another option that you can go for. Next, if it does not work out for you, go to the next solution. Solution number 8. Uninstall recent Windows updates. Sometimes you can have updates causing the BSODs. Now, in order to uninstall the recent Windows updates, click your Windows button, type security, type settings, then click open. When you click open, check and see that you have Windows update. Okay, check on the Windows update. Click on the Windows update. When you click Windows update, scroll down and look for update history. In case you're using Windows 10, you can click Windows, then go to update and security and look for Windows update. If you have Windows 10. Now, if you have Windows 11, continue. Then go to update history like this. Then you see we have that. Scroll down and look for uninstall updates. When you scroll down, you will find where we have uninstall updates. So you can click those updates. Click on uninstall. Then choose any update that you want to uninstall. It's okay. You can uninstall any update that you want and see if it is causing the problem. Now, if I go back, we can still come to driver updates. They will show you the drivers that have been updated. Okay, most of the time the errors are coming from the drivers. So the drivers that have been updated, you can check all these drivers and try maybe to go back to the drivers or in the device manager and uninstall the drivers or uninstall the devices. Okay, so I think that is that. For you can uninstall those updates and see. Next, let us go to the next solution in case this one does not work out for you. For Windows 10, so go to settings, update and security, then you will see the option for Windows update. Solution number 9. Perform a check disk command to check the file system on the C drive or the drive that has your Windows installation. To perform a check disk command, press the Windows key or the Windows button, then type cmd, run as administrator and click yes. Then type the following command: chk dsk checkdisk, then space, then shift capital C. I'm using C because C is the drive letter for my hard disk. You can go and check this PC, click here and look for the Windows installation. Mine is on drive C. So use that letter as the one we are going to check. So I'll check this, I'll put the C, then I'm going to hit the colons, then I'm going to put space, /F, space, /R. Then I'm going to hit enter. Now we are saying that the file type of the file system is NTFS. So the check disk cannot run because the volume is in use, because we are using the Windows right now. But now they're saying check the next time the system restarts. So you have to click yes or type Y. When you type Y on your keyboard, then you hit enter. So they're saying this volume will be checked the next time the system restarts. So the next step is going to be exit. Then make sure you go and restart your system. So I'll click the Windows button, go to power, and I'm going to restart my computer. When I restart my computer, you can see that now that disk is performing a check disk in the next seconds. So you can choose to skip, but we don't want to skip. We want it to check for the errors. So it is going to check through everything. If there are any errors, it is going to fix them. It may take some time depending on the size of your disk. So please finish it up. Then if it does not work for you, you can go to the next solution. Solution number 10. Restart your computer in safe mode. Safe mode is going to assist us to check and see if we have any other problem with our computer, because it does not load all services. It is going to only load the minimal services that are needed. To start your computer in the safe mode, we are going to press the Windows button, then type System Configuration. Then you click Open. When they start the system configuration, you are going to go to the boot option here, boot. When you click on boot, you are going to come and take the save boot. So when you click save boot, you are going to finish. We have different options. We have minimal. This is the default save option, or the default safe mode option. Then we have the alternate shell, the option which starts the computer or starts the Windows with a command prompt instead of using the graphical user interface. Then we have the active directory repair, which is also another one for alternate, like the alternate shell. Then we have the network, if you need to use the network. So I think we can either choose the minimal or the network. The network allows you to connect to the internet, but sometimes I think I prefer us to use the minimal, because it is going to reduce the drivers for maybe the network from being loaded. But if you think your problem is not with the drivers for the network, then you can go for network in order to access the internet. So I'm going to click minimal so as to reduce the number of drivers and the number of services that are being loaded. Then I'm going to click apply. Then we shall click OK. And our computer is going to ask, do you want to restart? Yes, we shall restart the computer. And then when the computer restarts, it is going to restart in safe mode. So the computer is booting. After booting, it is going to start in safe mode. Okay, you can see it is booting up. So now our computer is in safe mode. That's saying looks like you aren't connected to the internet. Yes, because I did not connect to the internet. So in case you have a blue screen, you can try loading your computer and starting it in the safe mode so that it can assist you to know what is the problem that is happening to your computer. You can try and configure, you can even run different commands from here. You can try and see what programs maybe are causing it, because if it is able to start in the safe mode, then it means that maybe the other programs that are not loaded are the problems. Solution number 11. Verify drivers using the official Windows tool. So press the Windows key and type verifier, then run as administrator and click yes. So we shall have the driver verifier manager. Go ahead and look for create standard settings. Head on and click next. Then ensure that you are having automatically selected and assigned drivers checked. Then you click next. This tool will let you know if you have any unassigned drivers, which is the first step toward fixing the BSODs. If you do not have any assigned drivers, like I do, you can click OK. But in case you have any assigned drivers, please continue following the steps to make sure that you reassign your drivers. Thank you. If you finish, you can click Cancel.